Our next lesson is on the RTI process. First, I'd like to show you a brief video on what RTI is.
Here, we'll look at a three-tiered model, often depicted as a triangle, as one example of how a tiered framework can be used as a school-wide strategy for instructing all students. All students will participate in Tier 1 instruction. At this level, they'll receive effective differentiated instruction provided by the general classroom teacher as part of an evidence-based core curriculum. The evidence-based instruction offered at this level can be expected to meet the learning needs of 80 to 85% of all students. For students who don't respond adequately to Tier 1 instruction, more intensive interventions come into play. Tier 2 interventions build upon the differentiated instruction provided at Tier 1 by offering students more systematic instruction and interventions strategically designed to help them catch up in areas of difficulty. These interventions are usually delivered to a small group of students within the general classroom, either by the classroom teacher or by another team member supporting the teacher who has also been trained to deliver the interventions. Tier 2 interventions will be offered to the 15% of students for whom Tier 1 instruction was not sufficiently intensive to meet their specific learning needs. But here is a critical point. Students who receive targeted Tier 2 interventions continue to participate in general Tier 1 instruction. Tier 2 interventions do not replace the core curriculum, they supplement it. For example, Dennis has been selected to receive Tier 2 interventions based on the results of recent reading fluency data. He'll continue to participate in the 90 minutes of core reading instruction that is provided to all students in Tier 1 each day. But in addition, he'll spend another 30 minutes per day receiving targeted reading instruction at Tier 2. Under RTI, his opportunities for learning and for catching up to his classmates will have been extended. We've saved the most intensive interventions available for the small percentage of students who still lag significantly behind their peers in making academic gains. Tier 3 interventions supplement the previous tiers by providing the most intensive evidence-based interventions delivered to individual students or in very small groups. Again, the intensity of instruction at this level increases. The size of student groups is reduced, and their opportunities for direct instruction extended. Interventions in Tier 3 may be delivered by an intervention specialist or even a special education teacher. But again, these interventions supplement the instruction provided at Tier 1, not replace it, and students do not have to be identified as disabled in order to receive these interventions. Only about 5% of all students will require these intensive Tier 3 interventions. Of these students, only a portion may go on to require special ed services.
You just saw a good example of school-wide RTI and what that looks like. In summary, what he said is that there's primary instruction that all students receive. If that instruction isn't showing results for a certain group of students, and I think that he used around 15% of students, then there would be a secondary form of instruction that just supplements the primary instruction. So that could be a pullout, that could be within the classroom. It depends on the school site, and it depends on the resources and the teacher. The last form of instruction would be the Tier 3 and the tertiary, and that instruction is a smaller group size. The intensity obviously goes up, and that may be like a one-on-one kind of intervention, just with the student and the special ed teacher or gen ed teacher, depending on, again, what the school's resources are, etc. So this diagram gives you also gives you a good example of what school-wide RTI looks like. So after seeing what a school-wide model looks like, I'm going to show you what a classroom model looks like or a intervention program looks like that may reflect something that you would do in your classroom. Here's a video.
Response to intervention is something that we have to do by law that allows us time to intervene with at-risk students who have skill-based deficits and need additional attention with the teacher to be able to be on grade level. The deficits are very large sometimes. We've got language deficits and we've got academic skill set deficits, and intervention allows us a time during the day to be able to sit and work with the students and fill in the gaps of what they need to keep them on grade level and to keep them from falling further behind with their peers. intervention really is not just a time for at-risk students, and I think that's very important for teachers to understand that the intervention time is a time for everybody, and it really can be seen as a time for enrichment for all the other students who don't need to be sitting with the teacher in a small group. There are many things that you can do with students during that time, but one of the things that we've been doing in Mansfield is putting the think tanks in place, which are independently driven centers that allow the students to integrate reading and writing as well as skill-based Texas essential knowledge and skills that we need to cover, and take them to a higher level of rigor and extension. Our gifted students as well sometimes don't get the time that they need with the teacher face to face, and intervention allows the gifted students a time to extend that learning into higher levels, going into possibly project-based learning, which is something that we're working on with the intermediate level schools, and putting some project-based learning type centers in the think tanks to give them time to really enrich their skills and to go deep in mastery.
Hi, we are sitting in a kindergarten classroom and they are working on some think tanks themselves. As you can see, we go read, write, create, and extend. And what they have, these cool tubs right here. What the teachers have done is put out all 4 of those things in separate baggies. So when the students, like Emma here, she knows which one she's supposed to get. So the first one is read. And what's cool about this for kindergartners is that they have a pictorial representation. So if they can't see that that's read, they have the picture right there that corresponds with the same picture on the baggie. So Emma knows which one she's supposed to get. So they read The Teacher from the Black Lagoon. And right now, what are you doing, Emma? What are you making?
Teacher.
So she's making a teacher because on Create, on number 3, it says make your favorite teacher. And who is your favorite teacher? Miss Wilson, the art teacher. So if you are a teacher that has Emma in class and she didn't mention you, sorry, you're not her favorite. All right, we're sitting here in the kindergarten class at another think tank. I'm sitting here with one of my good friends, Madison, and one of my good friends, Noah. We call him Flash because of his shirt. What they're doing today is they're working on the ocean think tank. And what part are you guys on this ocean think tank?
Well, on the second one, create an ocean scene using.
It's a big word. Need help?
Sequence card.
All right, so yeah, they're making an ocean scene using sequencing cards. So they're on Create right now. And can you show us kind of where you're coming along on your creation?
I'm right here.
So ocean scene using sequencing cards, then bam, here are the sequencing cards. You were like, where do I get sequencing cards from? Bam, did it, nailed it, right there. So the kids know exactly what to use, how to put it together, the steps are there. Can you show us what you got so far? What is all this stuff inside there? What is that going to be?
Oatmeal.
And what does the oatmeal represent?
The program.
Oh, yeah, so the oatmeal and moss to the baggie is going to be like the bottom of the ocean, right? And what's going to be the water?
The paper.
The paper. What do you like about this kind of work in your classroom?
That you get wire lot.
You get to write a lot? So you love the part about writing, which is coming up for you, right? And you get to write a paragraph about the
Wait.
ocean animal.
We're gonna do that one next.
Oh, the next one is extend. And what are you going to use to extend? What do you use? And what is that? Show it to the camera. Now, so the kindergartners in their think tanks using iPads, and you thought it was just for high schoolers. No.
Gifted learners really tend to excel when they have an ability to differentiate and do something that they've been able to think through and put together. Think tanks allow that open door for them to take an idea with a little bit of scaffolding and a little bit of instructions from the teachers and really take it and put it into something that they envision and something that they see. I really like the way that the think tanks allow the gifted learners to really be able to excel and to bring together different types of literature. I saw in one class the students were reading about severe weather, and they were able to take their ideas of severe weather and electrical storms and put together a replica of what electricity would look like in a severe weather situation. Their final product was a cardboard box with foil for lightning strikes, clouds that were made with cotton balls, and behind the lightning strikes they had lights that went through that were connected to a series circuit for a battery, and they were able to take their knowledge of the severe weather as well as their knowledge of the electricity and put it together for a product that really represented the idea behind the literature and reinforced their learning of their TEKS as well.
If I was a brand new kid, and I'm in your group and I've never done these before, where do I start? What do we do first?
Read the book.
All right, and what book are we reading?
Paper and Trees.
All right, and then what do we do next after we read the book?
We do the activity
All right, and why do we have two orange things here?
to tell us what we had to do
All
if
right,
we forget.
and I do all of this. I do this, then this, then this.
No, you do this tomorrow.
All right, so day 1, day 2. There's always 2 days. And which is your favorite day, day 1 or day 2?
Day 2.
And why is day 2 more fun to you?
Because I get to create a challenge.
All right, so day 1 is reading and you do the activity. But day 2, you're always creating something and then extended thinking thing with a challenge, right? So what do you do when you're done? Are you going to do some of these activities that they're doing?
No, I'm just going to finish my baseball guy,
And what's your baseball guy for?
the Dodgers.
And what's the assignment? You just get to make a guy?
Mm-hmm.
Is it about,
And then I'm challenging you, just write about it.
so you
So
create,
you write about, like, you can write about the day that you be in the baseball game or you played in it.
so you created the baseball player,
Mm-hmm.
and then the challenge is you write about the baseball player playing in a game or something.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your favorite baseball player?
I haven't like got one. I don't know.
How about Josh Roberts?
That was good.
Yeah, he's the best. Josh Roberts is the greatest.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. You remember him? Remember that big home run he hit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, he's awesome. He's unbelievable. All right, man, thanks.
On Fridays, we allow all of our students to be able to go and do a think tank. So if they're sitting with the teacher during the week, they're not going to miss out on that time. They're able to go and get a think tank and work on Fridays with their peers so nobody feels like they're left out. And I think that that's very important because we don't want to send a message that, intervention time is only for a certain type of student. It really should be for everyone. And even our gifted learners deserve an opportunity to sit with our teachers and to do out-of-the-box projects and lessons and things with them. And I really think that that's something that's been missing because of our time restraints in our classrooms. And giving this time, whether it's 30 minutes or 50 minutes during the day, for the teacher to really sit and work with students, whether it is for true intervention or it is for enrichment for the higher level students. I think it's extremely important that that focus is given to all students.
So you just saw a good video of what it looks like to have RTI in the classroom. Here are some advantages to RTI. First, it provides instructional assistance in a timely fashion. It's not a wait to fail model. RTI is a model that's used to catch students early. It's a model that's used to catch students with evidence-based practices and research-based instruction. RTI helps ensure a student's poor academic performance is not due to poor instruction or inappropriate curriculum. If you're using universal design for learning lessons, and your lessons are designed with that intention, most likely the academic performance is not due to poor instruction. Your instruction is broad and hopefully is reaching all students. Finally, RTI informs the teacher and improves instruction because assessment data are collected and closely linked to interventions. So if interventions need to happen, it's going to be based on data. And the data used is going to be data based from assessments, again, research-based assessments, progress monitoring. There's always going to be data that's used in RTI to make decisions, and decisions related to interventions is key to have data. Thanks for listening to both lectures. Please make sure you go to the discussion board to fill out the questions and respond to your classmates'